Well, thanks for having us here, Alex. We're at Goonvean Ltd in St Austell, and we're here to talk about the Maxsys Fuel Systems that you've had put in place and installed on 3 different sites here.
Yeah.
In total, I think you've had around 20.
20 units,
20 units. Just really as a bit of background to the organisation, to tell me a little bit more about you, could you just explain what you do as a company?
We're a china clay and aggregate producing company, and we take the minerals that are in the ground. It's a weathered granite, and we separate out the china clay, and we also separate out the sands and the gravels and the aggregates and the roadstones. But the primary product for the company is the china clay.
Yeah.
And we process those, refine them. There's various different stages, and we then turn those into a range of different china clay products for different customers.
Okay, so everything you take out of the ground you actually utilise? And
we try to, whatever we move from the ground, we try and make sure it's disposed of or sold responsibly rather than tipped as a waste.
Okay. And could you just tell me a little bit more about the process, from start to finish, how it works?
Yeah, we use very powerful hoses called monitors, and to wash the clay away from the granite. So it's broken up with a machine, sometimes by blasting. Okay. And then we would wash the clay away from the stone, and that would gravitate towards the bottom of the pit, which we call the sink. And at the bottom we've got a gravel pump that lifts the clay and the sand and the mica to a classifier, which is a spiral, a bit like a water wheel in reverse. Okay. The sand sinks to the bottom, and that lifts the sand away, which we would then take on to another processing stage, leaving the clay and the mica in a slurry form, which we would then pump through hydrocyclones, and that allows us to separate out the mica from the china clay. And then it's a question of processing the china clay by further refining or bleaching or blending into whatever the end product's going to be. Nice. And the final stage of that is a dryer to make it saleable. Yeah. Which is where we use in the Maxsys systems.
Okay. And the Maxsys systems that you've had installed, can you tell me a bit more about the actual project itself?
Yeah, over the years as an industry, we've been trying to save energy, and I think we use about half of the energy that the industry used to use if you go back over the last 15 years. And so the big savings have been done, and it's now a more tricky exercise to make the sort of climate change savings that's required of us. Yeah. And the Maxsys system helped us to achieve another saving, and that sits there literally by using less gas to achieve the drying requirements we need.
Yeah, and what sort of figure would you say that you've made as a saving on the consumption?
Well, because of the different products, there's different drying duties for different grades, and we've shown a range, but I think 5.5 was the lowest saving we had on a particular grade, and we had some grades where we demonstrated an 8% gas saving. Yep. But the average is probably around 6%.
Very good. And what about the investment? Obviously, within any investment, you look at getting a payback in a very short time. What sort of payback time did you have with the system?
For any energy saving project, we would want it to pay back in less than 3 years, and this one paid back in less than 2, and I think it was around 19 months was the figure we submitted the capital proposal with. Okay, that's very good. Yeah.
And one of the other benefits from actually installing the Maxsys Fuel Systems is the CO2 emissions. I believe you've actually seen a reduction in that.
By burning less gas, we're actually producing less CO2 to the atmosphere, and it's been calculated that we've saved 560 tonnes a year in less CO2 produced to the atmosphere. Okay. Which is very useful. Yeah. In this environmentally sensitive world.
Yes. And as far as the the actual project itself and the installation and everything else.
Mhm.
How could you tell me a bit more about that? How the reasons why, and obviously the experiences you had with the Maxsys team.
When we first got the brochure from Maxsys and we contacted them, they came and had a look at the sites, and they looked at our installations, and they looked at the data that we collect and where we have metering points. And before we took it any further, they made sure that they were comfortable that we would be able to make a saving. We have 2 main drying complexes. They looked at both of those, and we've got a third attritor mill, which takes a powder at 10%, a clay at 10% moisture, and we turn it into a powder at 1% moisture. So we've put 12 units on one dryer, because there are 12 burners. Slightly different band dry with two decks, and there are 7 more burners and Maxsys systems on there, and the 20th one is the attritor mill. So we've put 20 in as a total.
Yeah. And I believe as an organisation, obviously you're conscious of your environmental footprint, and I believe you're actually sort of doing regenerating the quarries and the sites to actually fit back into nature.
Yeah, I mean, any mineral extraction has a pretty big impact on the environment that we're doing it from, and it's quite a safe product in that it revegetates. It's not a nasty chemical or anything. We're not releasing anything harmful, but because we've disturbed the original ground, we've been involved in some projects to revegetate heathland. Lowland heathland is quite a rare habitat, and so when we have had to take some of the overburdens and the waste minerals that we can't use, we've been active in regenerating beneficial habitats, and we're going to get involved in a woodland project shortly as well.
Yeah, very good.
Okay, shall we move on?